Hi, class. Let's go over this week in review. So first, let's start with the journal, the Interpersonal Communication Skill Improvement Journal. The journal helps you track, reflect, and plan for improving your interpersonal communication skills. It's a self-assessment tool that builds awareness, goal setting, and communication effectiveness. So something that's kind of particularly relevant, it helps you apply identified approaches of the IPC skills improvement plan. So the underlying skills here revolve around self-awareness, to recognize personal communication habits, reflection, critically evaluate what is working and what isn't, goal setting and planning, identify next steps for improvement, in other words, and then evaluation. To expand further on that, assess progress and adjust strategies. So the suggested structure is one page. It's what we've done so far. So you'll describe specific exercises, practices, or strategies. How I feel about my progress, so include confidence, challenge, or surprises. What's going well, highlight skills that you're improving upon. Active listening, eye contact, etc. What's challenging? Identify difficulties and obstacles. Additional resources such as books, articles, videos, workshops, or live learning sessions. And then next steps, of course. Detailed actionable strategies for the coming week and beyond. So let's transition over to the discussion. This is part 2. The discussion will help you analyze across cultures, recognize cultural differences, and reflect on experiences with diverse groups. So in other words, you'll want to explain how interpersonal communications, or IPC, varies across cultures, how it is impacted when crossing cultural boundaries. Describe personally experienced and hypothetical cross-cultural contact. So the underlying skills here are observation and description of cultural differences, cultural analysis and application of theory, reflective insight, and empathy in communication, and then connection of experiences to research and course material. So here's kind of the step-by-step instructions of it. You'll describe the incident, analyze the incident, identify challenges, opportunities, or insights, explain the lessons learned, cite sources, at least one from your textbook and one external source. And then there's a guided response for your 2 reply posts. So respond to at least 2 classmates, 150 to 200 words each. Connect posts to intrapersonal and interpersonal communication concepts. Ask thoughtful questions or provide examples to extend the discussion. So now we'll transition to the quiz. There's not much of a preamble to the quiz. The quiz tests your foundational knowledge of interpersonal communication concepts. So essentially, the core relevant area here is understanding IPC concepts across contexts, including culture. The underlying skills for this: reading comprehension of core concepts, recall and application of theories, critical thinking, and distinguishing subtle differences in concepts. So here's some of the preparation tips. Summarize key terms and concepts. Use active recall. You could even do something like flashcards or practice scenarios. Apply concepts to real-life situations and manage your time carefully. And then we have our assignment 2. Which is the closing of the week. Assignment 2 asks you to apply as much of everything else, interpersonal communication and cross-cultural communications in personal or professional contexts. So as far as the preparation for this, gather insights from journal and discussion posts for reflection, review cultural distinctions like high and low context communication, individualistic versus collectivistic cultures, nonverbal communication patterns, and be ready to connect theory to practice, citing sources as evidence. And so here are some concepts to remember. As I just mentioned, high versus low context, individualistic versus collectivistic, power, distance, and formality, nonverbal communication such as gestures, eye contact, and facial expressions, interpersonal skills, improvement strategies such as active listening, reflective feedback, self-awareness, and empathy. Reflection and application, always connect your experience to theory and consider how skills can transfer to future contexts. So here's some tips for success. Plan ahead, use live learning sessions, be specific in examples, and connect experience to theory. That's all I have for you this week. Let me know if you need anything. Thank you.